On behalf of elected officials to protect America, I and the organization are proud to be here in Benton Harbor, along with the Climate Action Campaign, to highlight the city's and the surrounding communities' effort to restore and revitalize the local infrastructure and environmental areas to improve the quality of life for its residents. There's never been a more important time than now to invest in building resilient communities. All of us in our own way are affected by the tragic loss of life resulting from the massive flooding in Texas. And not only are our hearts with these people in those communities, we're also wondering if it could happen to us in our communities and how to prevent it. Mayor Mohammed and other community leaders are taking action today and to become a climate resilient community. Benton Harbor's clean energy investment, climate resilience, environmental cleanup project show a path to becoming a more energy secure community and to mitigate the impacts of extreme weather. This community is blessed with a natural beauty by the lake and the surrounding waterways that feed into it. It tells a story of prosperity and harmony that brings people together to make the dreams come true. The leaders standing here are working together have worked together to secure a $20 million community change grant from the EPA. Part of it is going to renovate the Bobo Brazil Center, as you see behind us, and an additional pilot microgrid program for alternative energy, and is working the surrounding areas for a community-driven, the Ox Creek Corridor Restoration and Revitalization Project. Is now ready to take off. However, there is one obstacle. The federal government has promised the money, but they have not delivered. Today, we're here to hear the stories of the work of these projects, as I'm sweating all over you. That shows the hard work these folks are doing. I'm sweating on their behalf. This funding will eventually arrive, and these stories will highlight how the community has come together, everyone helping one another to benefit all. As the senior advisor for E.O.P.A, I'm humbled and honored to be here with such an outstanding leadership. Mayor Mohammed, Representative Andrews, and distinguished community leaders, you are truly inspiring. E.O.P.A urges the federal government to release the funds so that the brave and resilient and tireless efforts of the officials and members of this community are fulfilled through the promise of tomorrow, beginning today. I'd also like to recognize that Senator Gary Peters unfortunately could not attend, but he has sent his representative, Mr. Peter DeCoe. Thank you, sir, for joining us in the audience with us today. Secondly, I'd like to honor that U.S. Senator Elise Slotkin also sent a statement that will, as well as Congresswoman Haley Stevens, both will be read by our esteemed mayor. And with that, as I continue to drip sweat, I will step back and let the mayor take over. Thank you, sir.
Well, first of all, I just want to thank everyone for your attendance today. It's so critically important that we come together and that we not only highlight the great work that's being done at Benton Harbor, but also illuminate the challenges that will take collective and collaborative efforts to overcome. But before I lean into my remarks, I would like to just read the statement from U.S. Senator Elisa Slotkin, who wanted to be here, but as she communicated, things are moving extremely fast in Washington, D.C. But she says Benton Harbor is an example of what it looks like when federal, state, and local leaders come together to deliver real results. And now more than ever, as leaders, we must keep our heads down, navigate the chaos in Washington, and work together for Michigan. This isn't just about clean energy. It's about creating opportunity and jobs and breathing new life into places that have been ignored for too long. From Ox Creek to the Bobo Brazil Center, folks here are getting it done. I'll keep pushing in DC to make sure Benton Harbor and communities like it keep getting the investment they need to thrive. And that is the words of U.S. Senator Alyssa Slotkin. And I'll read Congresswoman Haley Stevens, who the elected officials to protect America, we met with her in her office, and when we shared with her the termination of our EPA grant, she was appalled. And she vowed then to do all that she can from our Washington office to help us to procure those funds. And it reads, I'm so proud of the city of Benton Harbor for securing this grant. Thanks to the leadership of Mayor Marcus Muhammad, this $20 million grant will be such a boon to the Benton Harbor community. Fighting plastics in the water, investing in clean energy projects and environmental cleanup projects, and revitalizing the city. These are smart and serious initiatives done at the local level to improve the lives of wonderful Michiganders living in Benton Harbor. I am proud to have voted for these grants as part of the Inflation Reduction Act. Unfortunately, as we have seen time and time again from this administration, these grants have been recklessly and unlawfully been canceled. President Trump, Elon Musk, and their wealthy allies have once again decided to play political games with people's lives, combat water pollutants, and tackle the climate crisis. I'm continuing to use my voice and my vote in Congress to fight back against these chaotic and harmful cuts and work to reinstate the grant for Benton Harbor. I'm glad so many amazing leaders are speaking up today, like Mayor Muhammad, State Representative Andrews, and Christian Brock from the elected officials to protect America. While I wish I could be there with you today, know that I stand with you, and I'm standing with you in Washington, D.C. So, my remarks, I'll just camelback off of what they have shared. And I want to quote Theodore Roosevelt, who said, to be neutral between right and wrong is to serve wrong. The termination of the Community Change Grant was a severe miscarriage of justice. The Inflation Reduction Act was passed by Congress, signed by then President Joseph Biden, and the funds were to be appropriated to the communities that were awarded this particular grant. And I stand today to preserve and protect not just energy, but protect our democracy. Because checks and balances is the glue that keeps this government together. And you have the executive, you have the judicial, and you have the legislative branch. And all three have a role. And as we look at the great splendor that we all saw throughout the country on July the 4th, 2025, we also should be reminded that we have a duty and that we have a responsibility beyond party, beyond politics, but focus on we the people. So, as I started with a quote from one of the founders, I want to leave you with one. If you got $100 bill, you can take it out. But Benjamin Franklin, he was asked, and I'm reading this from my X account. He was asked what type of government has been created when he walked out of the Constitutional Convention, and he said that a republic, madam, if you can keep it. So today we stand here, and hopefully our voices will resound back to Washington, D.C., that we acknowledge that we have a republic, but we're going to fight to keep it. Thank you. Our next speaker is Representative Joey Andrews, but I do want to just let you know who's standing here. We have our president of the Benton Harbor Area Schools Board of Education, Deshauna Robinson. We have First Ward Commissioner Sharon Henderson, Commissioner at Large Edward Isom, and I'm honored to have with me my twin representing Benton Township as the supervisor, none other than Kathy Yates. We have to my right, we have our illustrious state representative of the 38th District, Joy Andrews. We have Marcy Hamilton representing the Southwest Michigan Planning Commission. We have Phil Rudes representing the state of Michigan, who serves as a director of EGLE. We're honored to have you. We have Commissioner Mary Alice Adams, who is a planning commissioner, but she also serves on our Benton Harbor Brownfield, which will be working to do a lot of the cleanup work in this effort. And we have our city manager, who's working night and day, none other than Mr. Alex Little. And please receive Representative Joey Andrews.
Y'all notice how when I stand on the step, I'm like just at eye level with the mayor. Really appreciate everybody being here today, and it's an honor to stand with everyone here who's up fighting for this project. I think it really shows what a huge part of the community this project could be, and this building's been sitting here vacant, unused, untapped for decades now. And we finally had an opportunity to give it a new lease on life, to preserve this beautiful architecture, this great building, turn it into something that would be, a real focal point in the community here, give a part of the city that could use some revitalization, a real shot at revitalization. And the great thing about it all is the money was secure. It's not one of those projects we were trying to figure out how do we make the ends meet on this, how do we close the gap. The money was secure. The federal government promised the money. The state promised money. The state money is coming through, but the federal government's going back on its word. And that's really where we stand in this whole thing right now. And it's really something to highlight in this whole budget process with the federal government, is that the federal government has gone from being one of the most reliable partners that we've had to being a completely unreliable and undependable partner. And you look at projects like this where you have nonprofits involved that need to hire staff, you've got city involved that needs to direct resources, you have state agencies involved that need to direct manpower, and now that's all up in the air. And what do you do with that manpower? What do you do with those resources? Do you send them somewhere else because the money's not coming, or do you hope the money's going to come and do you keep it redirected? That sort of chaos and uncertainty is more inefficiency in the system than anybody could hope to clean up with any of the nonsense that they've been trying to do with the federal government and DOGE and all that stuff. Keeping these resources tied up and keeping this uncertainty involved is doing far more harm than it is good. And I want to note too, this is an on-the-ground illustration of the negative impacts that we're seeing in the federal budget right now. We all talk about it, and it's easy to say, oh, this budget's a disaster, it's a mistake, it's a blunder. But what are the actual on-the-ground impacts? You're looking at one right here as an on-the-ground impact. This project we were gonna have shovels in the ground. This was gonna be going. This was gonna be a huge deal in the community, something that was gonna draw eyes and attention. And was going to be, like I said, a new lease on life for this part of the community here. And instead, now it's not happening. Now it's paused. Now we're trying to figure out what's going to happen. That is a tangible impact to the tune of millions of dollars that this budget is having already on our community right now. And I, hate to say that I don't think this is going to be the last of these negative impacts, nor do I think it's going to be the least of the negative impacts. So. I urge everybody to do what you can. Anybody who's paying attention to this project should call your congressman. I tell you to call our senators, but obviously you've heard they're on board. They're fighting for this project right now. It's our congressmen, Heisinger and Wahlberg, that need to hear the call from you guys and from everybody in the community that projects like this need to move forward, because their job's to represent us here, not Donald Trump, not his billionaire friends. And, I think that the tax break that he's giving to all of these guys, all these CEOs, they can stand to pay a little bit more in taxes if it means that communities like ours can really benefit from this sort of thing and, get the new lease on life that they need. But, I guess some people need like their 14th yacht or whatever it is, so that's where we are. Again, I just want to thank everybody for being here today. I thank Christian for coming in and doing this, making this a big focal point for what they're doing nationally. It's easy to overlook what goes on in Southwest Michigan, but what I always tell everybody in Lansing is what happens here is really a microcosm of what's happening everywhere. We can solve these problems here, we can solve them on a bigger scale. And so the attention you're seeing here is a recognition that it might be small town Benton Harbor that's feeling this impact right now, but it's going to be Detroit, Grand Rapids, it's going to be Lansing, it's going to be everywhere else that's feeling this tomorrow, because this budget isn't just a small hit. It's a heat-seeking missile going to the core of everything that we've been trying to accomplish in this state and this country for a long, long time. I don't want to belabor the point, so I'm going to turn sorry. The mayor asked that I recognize Carly Swanson, who's here from the governor's office, on behalf of our governor. So, also a big deal to the governor that this project moved forward. She's obviously spent a lot of time and resources in Benton Harbor over her time in office, and this is another one of those projects. It means a lot to everybody. So I'm going to hand off Phil next. Phil Roos, the director of Eagle.
Hey everybody. How easy is it to hear us?
You got it? Can you help?
Thanks for the invitation to be here, and thanks to Christian and E.O.P.A. for all the work you're doing to lift up community-driven climate solutions across the country. It's really important. That kind of work need a kind of an overall overlay to it, but we really need communities to play a central role in driving it forward, and appreciate your work there. It's an honor to once again be in Benton Harbor. Every time I'm here, I'm reminded we are in an incredible rebirth, a chance to really get to a better place from a community that had been left behind in a lot of ways, and put clean energy and environmental resilience at the center of that rebirth. And big thanks to the mayor for his leadership on this. Really deserves so much credit for it, as does State Representative Andrews. And Marcy Hamilton, you are in the thick of all of this from the Southwest Michigan Planning Commission, so thank you for that. And I always appreciate Alex Little, who we work very closely with on a lot of the work we do in the city. This is only possible, the progress we've made and the progress we will have, hopefully, is just due to all of your vision and commitment, as well as all the other city and county officials here at EOPA. I am the Director of Michigan's Department of Environment, Great Lakes, and Energy, and I am proud to every day work with 1,600 plus people who are out on the front lines trying to protect our air, land, water, and yes, climate. And to do that on behalf of the public health, on behalf of the people's livelihood and our way of life that depends on all that. We're proud to stand here today and every day with the citizens of Benton Harbor. We've been fortunate to be involved in a number of transformative projects, and I just want to tick off a couple of them. I'm going to start with the replacement of the lead service lines due to Governor Whitmer's leadership, Mayor Mohammed's leadership, done in record time at no cost to the taxpayers of the city. So we have some of the cleanest water in the country right here in Benton Harbor, and that's something to be proud of. We have also been very involved in the Bobo Brazil Center here is going to be a capstone of the Ox Creek revitalization project. Our Office of the Great Lakes, and Emily Finnell, many of you may know her, has been playing a really important role in working with local, state, and federal partners on this project for 4 or 5 years now, and it's gotten to a point where there's the beginnings, at least, of a clear game plan for, thank you, restoring habitat, reducing pollution, thanks, improving recreational opportunities, and also just making this a connected, thriving redevelopment area from Hall Park all the way to the modern plastics site. It's really exciting, and there's been over $11 million that has been raised for that effort. Other folks have talked about the $20 million EPA Community Change Grant. We've been very engaged in that and continue to be in trying to make sure that the federal government fulfills its promise. And I appreciate the work of everybody here who is playing a role, whether it's calling on the phone or it's legal efforts to make sure that happens, because we have to make sure it happens. This is so important to the community, and there's a promise made that needs to be filled. The Bobo Brazil Community Center, which we're standing in front of right now, we were proud to support a $500,000, we call it E.J. grant, to support the redevelopment, the blight redevelopment, and or remediation and redevelopment of this area to turn it into a capstone of this Ox Creek area. So it's going to be a center for health, recreation, and resilience, and just really important to this community. This was such a gathering place for the community over the years, and we want to make it that once again. And then yesterday, Eagle, our team, announced a new My Solar for All award to Benton Harbor. So I want to congratulate them on that. And this project is going to bring solar energy to city facilities, including the water plant, that's very symbolic, the City Hall, and the Bobo Brazil Community Center, which will also be a solar array and storage area. So we will be able to say that the community center will not just serve the community, it will help to power it. And the result of that will be about 180 low-income households here in the area who will see lower utility bills. 20% plus is the estimate. So that's really something exciting to think about, and that's another reason why we got to get this done. So just looking forward, we have a lot of, thank you, I don't really need it, but there's so much happening right now. Restorations of the stream and ecosystem, solar arrays we're talking about, brownfield cleanup, resilience hubs, which are such a big part of that EPA grant. All of that is an example, as I think Senator Slotkin said, it's showing what happens when you combine local vision and hard work with some state resources and federal cooperation. Let's make it happen. Let's make sure that EPA Community Change Grant gets earned, that it's been earned and awarded, gets awarded in full, and we make this happen. Get this community center done. Thank you so much.
Hallelujah.
Over to Marcy or Alex? Alex? Bring us home, Alex.
Good morning, everyone. I will try to be quick. There's more here. But we thank you very much for coming, and we thank all of you for the part that you play in helping us to get this project moving, keep it going. Ox Creek has been a long time part of the city's history. Many years ago, when this city was the focal point for farmers bringing their goods here to put on a ship down here on the ship canal to go over to Chicago. They brought them in on their wagons pulled by oxen, and the oxen always, they brought them to Ox Creek to stop and water them, and that's how it came to be named Ox Creek. We are looking at it, if you would visualize a linear park running from here all the way out through Benton Township to where Home Depot is, with clean water, canoeing, kayaking, fishing, a boardwalk that would run along the length of it all the way out, lighted, protected, and an asset to our whole community here, where people and visitors can come and enjoy it. It takes a lot of shoulders to the wheel to make these things happen. For instance, the park right across the street there, Whirlpool Corporation, Whirlpool Foundation, they just renovated it for us and helped us put that together. That connected with the Bobo Brazil Center here, the whole park right behind us where you see construction work going on where they're rebuilding the basketball court right now and other improvements to be made. And the creek itself, which by fall there'll be cleanup work starting in the not too distant future on parking along the streets here and so forth. And it's a worthy project that's going to benefit this community, and I think it's going to benefit the entire region. And again, we thank you very much for all that you do to help us to get that accomplished. And I'm going to keep it short.
All right. Now that we're all really, really warm, I'm Marcy Hamilton with the Southwest Michigan Planning Commission. We're the regional planning agency for Berrien, Cass, and Van Buren counties, and so we serve the 89 cities, villages, and townships within these 3 counties. And we're honored to be here today with the city of Benton Harbor and the elected officials to protect America, who are all these wonderful partners who are working so hard to bring prosperity to Benton Harbor community. A lot's already been said. The cancellation of the EPA Community Change Grant, I took very personally because I helped to write that grant with the city of Benton Harbor as their partner. And I just want to give a shout out too to the other partners of the grant, the Benton Harbor Community Development Corporation, Let Us Rest, Present Pillars, and the Workforce Development Institute are all partners in this grant with the city and us. And we had some amazing things planned with this money. Luckily for us, the state and Eagle are stepping up to help bring resources to this while we're trying to fight to get this money back for the community to do these great projects. I can't thank Eagle enough. Director Ruse and his staff have been amazing. Ever since this grant got terminated, we've been having weekly calls. Eagle is there 100% in support of Benton Harbor, and it's been truly amazing. I can't thank them enough for that. And so we're continuing the good work. Like Alex said, the construction is happening at Hall Park. That's $1 million Michigan Department of Natural Resources Spark Grant, revitalizing the city's oldest and largest park. Working with the township to put in a trail that Alex mentioned that is going to be transformational for this. And I tell you, personally, my background is in environmental science, and water quality is my passion. And so when Alex had told me that the mayor and his commission unanimously passed a resolution to revitalize and restore Ox Creek right through the center of Benton Harbor, I was like, sign me up. I am ready to go to work and help this community make that happen. I'm so excited what it means to Lake Michigan, our Great Lakes, to improve the water quality here is not only going to be transformational for this community, but for the Great Lakes, it's going to help improve. So it's very, very important. We're so blessed here to have wonderful water resources, and we want to improve them and make them a true asset to this community like it should be and like it was. And along with it, create better and safer green spaces, trails for pedestrians and cyclists, and a healthier future for the residents of this community. This is what it's about. I really enjoy working with the residents of Benton Harbor and the organizations I mentioned that are partners in the grant. There's a lot of people here in this community who are fighting for this community and want to see it better. And I'm just so honored to work in collaboration with them. And so thank you again for having us here. We're committed to fight for Benton Harbor and to bring these resources to the community. Thank you very much.
I would be remiss if I did not invite and ask our supervisor, Kathy Yates of Benton Township, who oversees the largest in terms of square miles township in the state of Michigan. Would you please?
This is an honored day for me to be part of this, and I so welcome the city of Benton Harbor, and I fight along with them to get this 20 million restored, and we'll do whatever is in our power to assist. We do have the largest township, and we look forward to that. We have coming to Home Depot. Our people will enjoy that as well as city people. We're not really one. We're not really one. We're like united because this is a joint effort for us, and we're looking forward to seeing this to fruition.
And just a reminder as well, our Attorney General, who her office was contacted, and she wanted to be here today as well. She was unable. She had a hard appointment that she had to attend, but I do just want to give you an update from her office. It says here in their brief, on July 9th, Michigan Attorney General Dana Nessel joined a coalition of 19 other Attorney Generals in filing an amicus brief supporting a lawsuit against the United States Environmental Protection Agency for unlawfully terminating the Environmental and Climate Justice Block Grant Program. In their brief, Attorney Generals insist that the congressional mandate in the Inflation Reduction Act was explicit, and executive discretion to rescind these funds was not an option. So in a translation, a congressional mandate takes precedence and authority over an executive order. Executive orders can be done by any president, but if you look at the word president, it only means preside, which is temporary. They come and they go. But the congressional laws passed and signed, that's what remains, and that's what has kept our country together. So with that being said, are there any questions from the media? We do want to invite you all to the livery. We do have a special luncheon or community conversation. And the air conditioning. Any questions from the media?
I'd be happy to do one-on-one interviews if you want to do that after this.
Okay.
We have questions.
Go ahead, yeah.
The first one is for Director Roos from Eagle. The My Solar for All grant is spectacular. I understand that it was just awarded yesterday, but is there a projected timeline to begin, or do you have any timelines in mind?
Ann, do you have details on that?
We're trying to roll them out and trying to spend on them here before 2026, so these things are going to be the first pilot of it.
Yeah, we have multiple cycles of them. So this was a set of, I think, 8 different grants, including Benton Harbors, that were announced yesterday. And we're trying to get those going, spend the funds while we can.
For Ms. Marcy Hamilton, all of the different projects that will receive the funding from the $20 million, of the different projects that will receive funding from the $20 million when it's released, is there one that you think will have the most impact on the quality of life for residents of Benton Harbor?
That's a really hard question. Obviously, every piece of that grant has an important role here in Benton Harbor. From one of the smallest pieces is a recycling program for the community. Right now, there is no recycling in Benton Harbor. This would start that here for the residents. So something as simple as that may seem very simple to people, but it's a big deal for the community. All the way to the biggest piece of it, which is the microgrid that was mentioned, and lowering folks' energy bills, bringing renewable energy to this community to benefit not only the city buildings, but also the residences. This grant was written with a focus to benefit the residents of Benton Harbor. And so having those energy efficiency upgrades made to public buildings and to our residents here would be transformational for this community. So, and the other big piece I want to mention of that is the workforce development piece. There was skilled job training planned with those funds to help build up this community and get people into the workforce and well-paying jobs that support a clean environment. So it all focuses on improving the lives of the residents, cleaner air, cleaner water, and a healthier future for Benton Harbor.
Next question is for City Manager Alex Little.
Yes, ma'am.
The contaminants seeped into the river and the riverbed. How has this affected the larger community?
Well, most of those contaminants are being removed. EOPA has had a treatment facility for several years, just downstream here from where the old Harbour plating facility used to be. It intercepts the water flow underground that's coming from the Harbour plating site and pumps it through the treatment facility to remove any contaminants and so forth. Our last testing that we did in the bed of the Ox Creek showed that the water was pretty clear. A couple of places that needed attention, but overall it's pretty good.
Thank you. Next question is for State Representative Joey Andrews. Any state or local grant would be minimal in comparison to this EPA grant. Are those state and local grant funds in some ways kickstarters to help get bigger grants?
We always as a state look to draw down federal funds. So of course, when you have a large EPA grant program, our goal is to put state dollars up to make it more attractive for the federal government to spend those dollars here. And for what it's worth, Michigan does a very good job at that. We're one of the top states in the country for drawing in federal matches. Something like 50% of our budget as a state is partially federally funded because we do such a good job of drawing those grants in. So while the dollar amount that the state puts up often is small compared to what the feds are putting up, that state buy-in goes a long way to draw those dollars in. And the state dollars for a project like, we're committed to this project as a state. And obviously the governor's office is very committed. Phil Roos being here, I think, demonstrates that as well. So even though the bulk of the project was looking at federal dollars, as a state, we're still committed to doing what we can to bring this project forward in whatever form we can. But it's just worth remembering that we put these dollars up to be good faith partners with the federal government to pull this money in, and this is money that's been promised that's now being some would say, the Attorney General would certainly say, legally revoked after it had been promised and committed.
And the last question I have is going to be directed towards Mayor Marcus Muhammad. Take your time so that truck can get by.
Sound of the man working on the train.
So I actually have several questions for you, sir. What does this grant represent for the future of Benton Harbor?
Well, I think it just serves as a sign of the overall remake, recitation, renovation, rehabilitation of a city that has experienced disinvestment over the years. We had a workshop at the Henry C. Morton House just directly where it talked about urban renewal and how urban renewal impacted the city of Benton Harbor. In 1989, Money Magazine said Benton Harbor was the worst place to live in the United States of America. In 1993, which was my senior year in high school, it was the murder capital. So where we sit and stand in 2025, it just reflects the great progress that has been made, but this building behind us also reflects how far we need to go.
And you led right into my next question. Looking to the future, what kinds of events are expected to be held in the Bobo Brazil Center behind you?
So so inside of it, we have Muhammad Ali's ring that he donated. And this ring was at his home in Berrien Springs. And we have an excellent PAL boxing program, which would be here. Our basketball court is a full NBA length, which of course is near to my heart. That'll be totally renovated. We have classrooms, we have locker rooms, we have areas where we can have adult education classes, teach people employability skills, share with residents computer skills. Hopefully we'll have some AI courses that'll be taught here where we can have a comprehensive, holistic program and programs to rebuild our residency, because rebuilding and renovating the building is one thing, but this building will help to rebuild people, along with being a warming center and cooling center. And if you want to do your EV charger, it'll be right over here to my left. And I would just say, if President Trump were here today, I would say, Mr. President, if you want to make America great again, help me make Benton Harbor great again.
That part.
Because it was small town America that built this country, not the big cities. The big cities came after. But let's rebuild small town America. Let's make small town America great again, and then your vision of making the larger America great can be realized.